Uh, do you have something to ask? Yes, tell me. If not, should we move ahead? Yes? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Again, unreal city. We have seen this unreal city in the first movement. Now, this unreal city, under the brown fog of a winter noon, Mr. Eugenides. And Eugenides means the one who is well begotten. One who is well begotten means rich. Unreal city, under the brown fog of a winter noon, Mr. Eugenides, the Smyrna merchant. Already we have seen the Smyrna merchant in the first movement, as we have found him in one of the tarot cards, one-eyed Smyrna merchant. And this one eye refers to the eye of mercantile affairs, economic affairs, the commercial affairs, the eye of physical pleasures. Mr. Eugenides, the Smyrna merchant, unshaven, unshaven, with a pocket full of currants, CIF. C stands for cost, I for insurance, F for fray. As he is a merchant, so he has to deal with cost, price, value, asset, insurance, documents, papers, right? Am I clear? Mr. Eugenides, one-eyed Smyrna merchant, unshaven, with a pocket full of currents, CIF, London, documents at site, economic documents, financial documents, traveling documents, array, insurance documents. Asked me in a demonic French, low French, as he is a businessman, so he has to travel far and wide in different parts of Europe, maybe. So he should have the knowledge of the languages of the each European country, at least wherever he goes to do the job. Asked me in the demonic French, for lunch, for lunch at the Cannon Street Hotel, cheap hotel. And this hotel was known for homosexuality. Homosexuality, followed by a weekend at the Metropole. So, be it Cannon Street Hotel or a Metropole, they all refer to cheap hotels which were very popular for homosexual relationships, especially in the aftermath of First World War. So we have arid, drab, non-creative homosexual descriptions as well. And if you look at the history of wars, long wars, it has been recorded that long wars have necessarily paved the way for the emergence of homosexual relationships. Physically, emotionally, both. So this is the achievement of another achievement of First World War. The production and the reproduction in ironical sense in terms of the description of homosexual relationships. Then, am I clear? Then he says, at the violet hour, when the eyes and back turn upward from the desk. At the violet hour, when the eyes and the back turn upward from the desk, when the human engine waits, human engine, human beings transforming into robots, machines, 9 to 5. Human engine waits like a taxi throbbing machine. Like a taxi throbbing machine. Taxi, a modern image, modern symbol. Taxi throbbing machine, human engine waiting, mechanical description. When you say a machine to start, it gets started. When you ask the machine to stop, it gets stopped. 9 o'clock in the morning, go to work. Okay, sir. 5 p.m. in the evening, stop it. Okay, sir. Mechanical, artificial, robotic life. That is the wasteland. So, when the human engine waits like a taxi throbbing, waiting, I, Teresis, the protagonist, I, Teresis, do blind, we have known him, throbbing between two lives, man and woman. Old man with wrinkled female breasts can see at the violet hour evening the evening hour that stripes homeward. Now this homeward you can compare and contrast to the elegy written literature by Thomas Gray. The curfew tolling the knell of the parting day. है ना? So evening there and evening here. और वो सुंदर सा बॉलीवुड का गाना है, आपने सुना होगा, किशोर कुमार वाला, वो शाम कुछ अजीब थी, ये शाम कुछ अजीब है, वो कल भी मेरे पास थी, वो आज भी करीब है. नहीं सुना है? जो नहीं सुने हैं सुन लेंगे भाई, है ना? कोई पाप नहीं गाना सुनने में. At the violet hour, the evening hour that strives homeward, office work is over, now it's time to go home, homeward, and brings the sailor home from sea. It's evening, right? Those who have gone to the work, they have to come to back. They have all of them have to come back their respective homes in that way. Simple. The typist home at tea time clears her breakfast, lights her stove, and lays out food in this. Out of the window, perilously sprayed, her drying combinations touched by the sun's last rays. On the divan are piled at night her bed, stockings, slipper, camisoles, and stays. I, Tiresias, old man with wrinkled, dark. The story of a typist, a clerk in the office, her daily routine, working like a human machine, human engine, throbbing like a taxi, is coming back to her home, taking tea, breakfast, food, divan, sun's last rays, stocking, slipper, and other sorts of things. And I, Tiresias, old man with wrinkled breasts. What does he do? The scene and foretold the rest. What is the scene? I too awaited the expected guest. Somebody is coming. He, the young man, carbuncular, the one who has lots of pimples and red sores on the face. The young man, carbuncular, arrives. A small house agent's clerk. Eliot himself was a clerk at Lloyd's Bank. A small house agent's clerk with one bold stare, confident. One of the law on whom assurance sits, confident. Assurance sits as a silk hat on a Bradford millionaire. Bradford is a famous town of region of England. And during the World War One, Bradford created millionaires out of their business in wool work. Wool work. So as a silk hat on a Bradford millionaire. We have been talking about Eliot as an elitist. So the words, the phrases like bold stare and assurance sits on his face. In spite of the fact that he had lots of money, but he had been compared to as one putting silk hat. मेरा जूता है जापानी पहने, क्या कैसे गाना है, मैं तो भूल ही गया, कैसे गाना है जी अलीशा? मेरा जूता है जापानी पहनूं, टोपी हिंदुस्तानी, फिर भी कहते हैं कुछ कहते हैं. Anyway, those who are culturally rich by birth, those who have the sense of tradition, culture, and those who have become rich latestly and displayed to be culturally rich as well. So he says what? One of the law on whom assurance sits, a clerk who is to visit the typist soon, as a silk hat on a Bradford millionaire, the time is now propitious, favorable. It's perfect time. She has come back from her home. She has taken her breakfast. She's ready to have her food. The time is propitious, favorable. As he guesses, the meal is ended. The meal is ended. She is bored and tired. She is bored and tired. Endeavors to engage her in caresses. Caresses, you know it, I think. Which still are unreproved. No denial, no resistance. Yet she is bored and tired. The man comes. The situation is propitious. He caresses her unreproved. If undesired, flushed, and decided. She might not have the interest to be caressed. She might not have the interest to be seduced, to be what? To be in bed with the man. She may be undesired. She may be not in the position to do the thing. Yet she is not resisting, she is not denying. And the man assaults at once. The man assaults at once. Exploring hands encounter no defense. no resistance, exploring hands encounter, no defense. His vanity requires no response. Already we have been talking about them as machines come together, machines mate, machines have sex. There is no emotional, sentimental involvement at all. But vanity requires no response, no conversation, no dialogue, and makes a welcome of indifference. And I, Terraces, have fore suffered all. Enacted on this same divan or bed, I, who have sat by Thebes, the city of Thebes, Oedipus the king, before the wall, and walked among the lowest of the dead, Homer's Odyssey and Odysseus visit to the head city of dead. There was Tiresias to show him the path. Bestows one final patronizing kiss, and gropes his way, finding the stairs unlit. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Anybody else? I don't think I need to explain this line because it's more than evident. It's evidently clear, isn't it? Please say something.
Yes, sir, it is.
Are you there or not here? Why do you take this much time to respond? Yes, anybody else? Please. Surely. Silence is the best answer. Ha! She turns and looks. The story is not complete yet. She turns and looks a moment in the glass. In the mirror, she turns and looks a moment in the glass, hardly aware of her departed lover. Hardly aware of her departed. I mean, just think about it. Hardly aware of her departed lover, her brain allows one half formed thought to pass. Well, now, that's done. Well, now, that's done. And I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it's over. When lovely woman stoops to folly, and paces about her again alone. She smothers her hair with automatic hand and puts a record on the gramophone. When lovely woman stoops to folly, there's one reference, one allusion to the novel The Vicar of Wakefield by Oliver Goldsmith. And there is the character Olivia, who is raped. And after the incident, she commits she commits suicide. But here there is no guilt feeling, there is no sense of sin being committed. Instead, well, now that's done. I'm glad it's over. And smothering her hair with automatic hands and putting a record on the gramophone. At least into his choir mistress, the lover had to argue. He had to pursue. And strong arguments he poses. So even at least there is a kind of reprobation, there's a kind of denial, there's a kind of resistance in his to his choir mistress. But what about here? Belladonna, Lady of Rocks, Lady of Situations, Mona Lisa, Mrs. Porter, Sweeney, Eugenides, daughters of Mrs. Porter, typist, clerk. What about them? Done. As if sexual intercourse is a thing it's a thing to be done. Just do it as it should be done. Anyway, I will not talk about that anymore. Am I clear? Or if you have something to ask, you may. Please. You want to say something, you can say. Yes. Yes. No. अरे तो कोई तो हाँ ना कुछ तो बोले भाई, कोई कुछ बोल ही नहीं रहा है.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
तुम मत बोलना, कुछ और बोलेगा अभी. चलो कोई और बोले तो. कौन कौन क्लास में है आज? चलो भाई. अरे हाँ हूँ करिए यार, क्या आप लोग भी एकदम इसको बना रखे हैं मशीन. मशीन को मशीन न बने दें. हम लोग हैं तो हम लोग
Yes,
कुछ
sir, it's clear.
करें. अच्छा ठीक है भैया, थैंक यू. कोई तो बोला. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. कौन आया कौन आया anyway, so this music crept by me upon the waters, reference to the tempest Ferdinand, referring to the music and the song of Ariel. Compare this to the gramophone, where the effect and the effect of music here in the wasteland. Yes, compare and contrast. And along this strand up Queen Victoria Street, a low place, a lowland, preoccupied by laborers and daily workers. Oh city, city, I can sometimes hear, I can sometimes hear beside a public bar in Lower Thames Street the pleasant winning of a mandolin, folk music, lok jeevan, community feeling. Eh? Mandolin refers to what? Folk life, folk music. Folk is all about what? Communication, participation, caring and sharing. Caring and sharing. So, oh city, city, I can sometimes hear public bar in Lower Thames Street, the pleasant winning of a mandolin and what is this? And a clatter from within where fishermen lounge at noon, where the walls of Magnus Martyr hold inexplicable splendor of Ionian white and gold. So Lower Thames Street, Queen Victoria Street, and the pleasant winning of a mandolin, and a clatter from within, and the reference to the fishermen and the fishermen lounge at noon. They all refer to what? As I said, वो एक गाना है ना अमिताभ बच्चन वाला जो जाता है इस फिल्म का पता नहीं कि वो कौन सा गाना है वो कश्ती वाला क्या गा रहा है कोई उसे भी आपको याद है किसी को अरे बोलो यार कोई उसे भी याद आ रहा है स्पेनिश है ना कि इटालियन है क्या है जो शुरू पहले होता है ओ मोने मोरे what is that I don't know anyway are you getting a point or not folk life community at least in the low lights low people laborer class in that way where the walls of Magnus Martyr church where the walls of Magnus Martyr hold inexplicable splendor of iron, white, and gold. Beautification, beautification that way. So just think about. Already we have seen in the burial of the dead, Saint Woolnoth. Remember that? Saint Woolnoth, Mary Woolnoth Church. The striking of 9, the starting of business time in that way. So in the same connection, he is talking about what? Magnus Mater hold a church which is beautiful, its inexplicable splendor of onion white and gold, beautiful wood carvings, and just around that, do not in totality, do not in totality, the sense of community life is still intact. The sense of community life is still surviving and living. This is important because this will be connected to the last fragments of the poem The Wasteland in the fifth movement. And there I shall ask you to visit this stanza once again. As far as folk life, life of rapport, life of care and share is concerned. Am I clear? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm so sorry, but there was an important call. Anyway, so am I clear?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to stop now. Okay, and we shall meet tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Is it hello? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Is it all right?
Okay, sir.
Okay then. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.